Peace, peace, peace all. Peace. Copper Girl Asia, Herm P, Aboriginal Q, Mark Strozier. Peace, peace. Peace to everyone that is watching. Peace to everyone that's in the chat. Select the famous X. Peace, peace. Nah, I was just looking more into this and just came across these stuff. So, I'm like, let me, pull this up and, get into this. You see what I'm saying? Peace, peace, Bonya. Fremantle, peace, peace. Oh no, I'm definitely not a Hebrew. I can tell you that for sure. Definitely not. I just look at things differently from everybody else. That's all. I look at things for what it is, practical, right? Brother Owa, honor, brother honor. Johnny Bands, peace, peace. Brother David Corey, peace. Tavo Gilkey, peace, peace. Oh, you're in Hebrew. I ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Let me just state, no matter what a person is, if that's what you feel, and if that's what you feel comfortable being, and that's what you, or that is your ideology, or that is what you want to be, and it works for you, so be it. Fine. You know what I mean? It's still all love at the end of the day. And that be whether you are a Christian, a Catholic, a Moor, or whatever. You know what I mean? That it is. That's what it is. Oh, you're an ex-Hebrew. Oh, okay. Oh, my bad. But it's still though, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? That's what a person chooses to be. I just like still being truthful. My whole thing is to be truthful to the history and truthful to the origins of the meaning of the words that we use. You see what I'm saying? That's just to the core of it for me. Right. But yeah. Before we get started, let me state my disclaimer for any members of law enforcement, any individual, any public, private entity, corporation that is recording this live stream. I am not a Moor. I am not a Moorish American. I am not a Pan-African. I am not an African American. I'm not a black man. I am not a sovereign citizen. I am not a part of any sovereign citizen movement. I am not an Aboriginal, a Moorish Aboriginal. I am not a Aboriginal Moor. I am not a Moorish Hebrew. I am not a Hebrew Aboriginal. I am an Arawak Indian, what you call an American Indian from the American island of Zamaka. I am an American. All right. With that being said, this platform does not advocate terroristic activity, any form of hate speech towards anyone, any form of bigotry towards anyone. This platform is for educational purposes and to critique public information as it is put out there in the public, whether it be coming from any other platforms also as well. This platform is for who you call indigenous people worldwide to communicate back and forth with each other, exchange information back and forth with each other, as they see and feel fit. With that being said, I say peace, love, light to you all also as well. And, hope everyone is having a wonderful and a beautiful day. Hope everyone is safe. Hope your families are safe. And I just wish you all nothing but the best. All right. With that being said, I say peace, love. Chelsea, Sister Danielle, Brooklyn Lady, Sister Rhonda, Chelsea Smith, Brother Johnny Bands, Cherokee Tolu. Peace, peace. Donald McCord. Peace, peace. The Mitchell Show. Peace, peace, sister, peace. Ancient American Dion, Nature Being. Peace, peace. Make sure I didn't miss anyone up here. Brooklyn Media, Panthera Anka, peace, peace. Bon Haya, peace, peace. Star Strike, peace, brother, peace. Rising Sun, peace. I believe I did get everybody else up there. All right, so let's get into it. I wanted to first play a little video. I'm gonna mute it because I don't want them to talk about copyright infringement because it's playing some French music in it. All right, but just pay attention to the pictures, right? So this person is painting you a storyline, and they're literally showing you who the privateers and who the pirates and the privateers are. Right now, let's just play it out. Let me see. No, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, we're gonna get to that one. We're gonna get to that one. What the hell? Did I lose it? No. That's that. That's that. Let's back it up. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Now, when we start, let me just say fair use, fair use. This is called Le Buccaneer, the Pirates of Tortuga from Azorian 88's channel. All right. That's what this is called. Let's get back. Let me back it up. Let's go. Right. I muted the song. Let me just. I muted this song. We're gonna keep it low. We're gonna keep it low. See the faces? Now let me back it up a little bit. These are the Indians. These are the Indians. Right? These ain't Africans. These here are the Indians. All right. This is no joke, people. No joke. Definitely no joke. We're about to get into it. Now, we're going to play also the next video coming up right after this. We're going to let it play out like the first 7 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes of the next video coming out, right? Because I want y'all to really hear this stuff. Like this is crazy. Right? Pay attention to this picture right here. We're going to get into this too also as well. All right, let's get to the next video. Let me turn it back up.
The truth of their exploits can be far more interesting.
Oh, I want to mess with the connection. I think they're trying to cut my feed.
During the golden age of piracy, many famous names plundered and murdered their way through the New World, often with the approval of their own governments, essentially becoming crazed killers let loose upon the high seas with a license to kill and plunder. From a heart-eating psychopath to a gentleman with a taste for bizarre methods of torture, here are my picks for 5 of the most feared and notorious pirates to ever set sail. Number 5, Edward Lowe. Born in poverty to a family of notorious thieves, it could be argued that Edward Lowe had little hope of living a normal, law-abiding life. However, his difficult background fails to account for the terrible cruelties that he would later inflict upon others. As a child, he soon followed in his family's footsteps, engaging in theft before graduating to burglary. Dissatisfied with his lot in life, he moved from London to the New World, where he eventually married and settled in Boston. His time there was marred by tragedy, however, losing his firstborn son as an infant, before his wife later died while giving birth to his daughter. While he had initially been earning an honest living on the high seas as a rigger, the events of a single day in 1722 set him on a new and darker course. After an argument with the ship's captain over rations, an enraged Lowe shot at his captain with a musket, missing him but hitting another crewman in the throat. Lowe and his friends fled the boat, later stealing a small ship off the coast of Rhode Island, murdering another man during the process. Lowe and his friends were now officially pirates. There could be no going back. He announced to his new crew that they would make a black flag and declare war against all the world. He embarked upon a successful yet extremely brutal career of piracy that would see him operating off the coasts of North America to as far afield as the Canaries and Brazil, before moving on to the Caribbean. He is estimated to have captured over 100 ships, usually using his favored tactic of hoisting false colors, allowing him to get close to an unsuspecting vessel before launching a surprise attack. Despite his considerable success as a pirate, he has become best known for the numerous atrocities he committed during his raids. A former prisoner described him as a man who took pleasure in the suffering of his victims, and his catalogue of horrific crimes seems to reinforce this accusation. On one of the first ships he captured, 2 Portuguese passengers were murdered by being dropped from the sails onto the deck multiple times before they finally succumbed to their injuries. On another ship, a cook was burnt alive, and on yet another he personally murdered 53 of the crew using just his cutlass. The crew of the 100 ships he captured would rarely escape unscathed.
Fair use. This is from Unknown 5 channel, all right? Unknown 5.
Became notorious for using an especially grisly method of torture. The victim's hands would be tied behind their back, with rope placed between each finger. Lowe would then set fire to the rope, causally burn the unfortunate victim's flesh down to the bone. Perhaps his most infamous act of cruelty occurred in 1723, when after capturing a Portuguese ship, the captain of the ship dropped a bag of 11,000 gold coins into the sea, rather than let it fall into the pirates' hands. Lowe became enraged at this act of defiance and sliced off the captain's lips, broiled them, and then forced the suffering man to eat them, before murdering the entire crew of 32 men. This vicious act shocked even Lowe's own men, who later described him as a maniac. Yet it's possible that there was a method to his madness. Pirates at the time would try to cultivate an intimidating reputation, which would make vessels they targeted more likely to surrender to them without a fight, as the crew would fear the consequences of defying the pirates. Either way, such enormous levels of plundering, coupled with his unspeakable acts of violence, earned him the attention of the British Empire. The heavily armed warship HMS Greyhound was dispatched to bring Lowe to heel, and on the 10th of June 1723, Lowe suffered a decisive defeat during a fierce battle with the Greyhound. 25 of his crew were captured and hung for their crimes, while Lowe fled with the few men he had left. Lowe took the defeat badly and seemed to become more unhinged. The weakened band of pirates continued to ply their trade, however Lowe's treatment of captives, as well as his own crew, became more savage. The captain of a whaling vessel he captured was tortured and shot in the head by Lowe, who then set the whaler's crew adrift with no provisions, intending for them to starve in the open seas. He also turned on his own crew, dishing out harsh punishments for minor infractions. Finally, the small crew who had remained by his side refused to carry out his orders to torture captives anymore, and many of the men mutinied. Exactly what happened to Lowe next is the subject of debate. Some reports state that Lowe was set adrift without provisions by his mutinous crew before being captured by the French and hung for his crimes, while others believe he drowned at sea during a severe storm, or simply escaped to Brazil, where he lived out his days in hiding. Whatever his eventual fate, the terror he had unleashed during life was gone but not forgotten. Number 4. Francis Spriggs. The early life of Francis Spriggs is shrouded in mystery. However, he began his rise to infamy as the quartermaster for the previously mentioned Captain Edward Lowe, joining his captain in dishing out cruel and unusual punishments on those unfortunate enough to fall into his clutches. Spriggs had no doubt long harboured a desire to captain his own ship and free himself from the shadow of the fearsome Lowe, and the ideal opportunity presented itself in December of 1724. Lowe had given Spriggs temporary command over a British man of war the pirates had captured, but after an argument between the two, Spriggs betrayed his captain, slipping away with the ship under cover of darkness, intending to strike out on his own. After leaving Lowe, he headed for the West Indies, unleashing a reign of terror on any merchant vessels that crossed his path. However, it was with the capture of a Portuguese ship in 1725 that Spriggs really showed the world that he was a man to be feared in his own right. After looting the ship of anything of value, the terrified crew were put through a bizarre torture known as the sweats. Candles would be placed around the main mast, which was then surrounded by a group of pirates armed with swords, knives, forks, and anything else that was sharp that they could lay their hands on. One by one, the captured crewmen would be forced to enter the circle, at which point a violin would
They're trying to
begin
cut the
playing a merry
connection. If
tune,
it cuts
and
off,
the
I'm just going to
ordeal would
restart
begin.
it back, all
The
right?
victim would be forced to
They're
run
trying to
around the
cut the
mast for
connection.
several minutes, while the pirates viciously poked and prodded at his exposed flesh with whatever sharp implement they were holding in their hand. The slower the man moved, the more deeply he would be stabbed. After the ordeal had ended, the exhausted and wound-covered men might have thought that the worst of it was behind them, but Spriggs was not a man known for mercy. The ship was promptly set on fire, with all the prisoners still on board, condemned to die by being burnt alive, while Spriggs and his crew watched with glee from a safe distance. His taste for unusual tortures was further demonstrated when in 1724, after several close run-ins with Navy warships, Spriggs considered the possibility of trying to obtain a royal pardon for his crimes. As a gesture of goodwill, he released his latest batch of prisoners to the authorities. However, closer examination revealed that the prisoners were covered in a variety of wounds and injuries, with the men even speaking of how they were forced to eat plates of hot wax by the unhinged Spriggs. Needless to say, the royal pardon never materialized. These tortures, along with his general disregard for human life, would cause the mere mention of the name Francis Spriggs to strike fear into the merchant crews operating in the Caribbean waters. And unlike many other pirates who used fear as a weapon, carefully cultivating a fearsome image so as to make capturing ships easier, Francis Spriggs and his men operated more like a roving band of barbarians, with little subtlety or care for the suffering they were causing. Yet with fame came the attention of the Royal Navy, which was keen to clamp down on the piracy, which was proving so destructive to trade between the Old and New Worlds. Heavily armed British warships would be continually harassing Spriggs throughout the Caribbean, but each time he managed to evade them with his life. He continued to terrorize the shipping lanes as late as 1726, but his eventual fate remains unconfirmed, although according to one newspaper article, in a strange twist of fate, he may have ended up marooned on the same island as Edward Lowe, the pirate captain he had betrayed 2 years earlier. Number 3. Daniel Montbaz. Unlike most other infamous pirates, Daniel Montbaz was born into wealth and privilege, raised as an educated gentleman in southern France by a well-to-do family who catered to his every whim. Yet perhaps this studious background planted the seeds of hatred which would blossom into extreme violence and bloodshed. According to legend, his burning hatred for the Spanish, which so marked his later life, would in part be born from reading tales about atrocities committed in the New World by the brutal conquistadors, especially those carried out on the numerous native tribes who were so harshly treated by the invading Spanish. When war broke out between France and Spain in 1667, he hurriedly joined with his uncle in enlisting in the French Navy, keen to serve his country as well as kill Spaniards. However, the war soon brought tragedy upon the young gentleman when his ship was sunk in the West Indies, sending his beloved uncle to a watery grave. The loss of his uncle sealed his hatred for the Spanish, and Montbaz made his way to the pirate haven of Tortuga, where he became a buccaneer captain. However, unlike his fellow
Tortuga, right? That's Tortuga. Tortuga means turtle. Okay? Turtle. Tortuga. This is Haiti. All right? This is in Haitian island. This is what Tortuga is. I want y'all to understand this. You can't study the history of America and not study the pirate age. That's asinine. Because once you skip past the pirate age of studying the history of what is now called America, right? And notice I say what is now called America. When you skip past the pirate age, then you are skipping past also how this corporation as the United States was founded. The men who started it, the men who infiltrated, the men who came up with this organized strategy of taking over everything. You're getting past the core. And where were they when they created the idea? Where were they when they came together in unity? Where were they? They were in the Caribbean. And Tortuga was one of the strongholds that these men was using to formulate their idea. Right? Tortuga, Port Royal, these islands, we can't ignore these things. Port Royal is underwater now, but we can't ignore it. These are the things in history that we cannot ignore, right? Especially me that come from the islands of the Americas. I'm staying to home. This is the history of the Caribbean, the West Indies. The history of the West Indies is the history of the mainland. And I need folks to understand that, because a lot of the plotting of how the system to take over the system, to how to restructure everything, the French and the Brits was in the islands doing this. Notice I didn't say the French, the Brits, and the Spaniards, because the French and the Brits was enemies of the Spaniards. They took their war from Europe and brought it here with them against the Spaniards. Okay? This is what we must understand. Now we're going to get into let me see if this is it. If this is it. I want to show you guys something. Let me see if this is it. No, this is it. There we go. Right. Now I'm back this video up, right? So this is Tortuga. This is Turtle Island. It's still called Turtle Island to this very day. Now, what you have is you have many places like the Isle of they're at the Isle of Tortuga off the coast of Costa Rica that they're trying to call Turtle Island. They have another place off the coast of the Florida Keys that they're trying to call Turtle Island. But when you go into the history and the age of piracy, the only place that all the pirates come back to and the history comes back to, down to even Henry Morgan and other governors of the Carolinas, is the turtles back off of the coast of Haiti, which is Tortuga, the original Tortuga, which is the original Turtle Island. All right. What they did throughout the history was they scattered the story throughout the history to take away from the fact that it is Haiti, because all the original inhabitants that call themselves Arawaks from the Arawakan Empire still stands to this very day. They're still there. And why is that important? Because they're dark skinned, dark colored, brown skinned, brown colored people. They never left. When the Spaniards came, these were the folks that they saw. When the Spaniards left, these were the folks that they left. When the Brits and the French came, these are the folks that they came and saw and tried to enslave. Okay? When the Brits and the French got defeated and got their asses whooped up off of these islands, right? These people are still there to this very day. These were the people that came up into North and South America and freed a lot of Indians. Let's not do them a disrespect by ignoring this part of the history now that is showing itself to be factual. Tortuga is Turtle Island. Turtle Island is Haiti. Belongs to Haiti, right? Hispaniola. Now watch this. This is him. He's riding down the turtle's back. Watch. Watch this video. This is fair use. Fair use. This is from Haiti's missions, right? From Haiti missions. Fair use. Let's go.
Blanco, Blanco! Good night.
Look how skilled he does this shit too.
Good morning. Hey.
I'm showing you guys this video to show a point, and I'm going to prove a point to y'all. Watch. There goes the Arawaks. They're still there. They haven't left. See them? The Arawaks. They're still there. Haven't left.
Hey. Oh, good.
Exactly, Papa Hot Step. They think we stupid. He's going straight down the turtle's back. Straight down the turtle's back. And strategic, too. Very strategic. Watch this. Look at that. Boy, man.
This is where they get their water. The whale. That's okay. Go ahead.
That's a Caucasian on the back of that bike. Now, I showed that to say this, right? Let me get back to y'all right now. I showed that to say this because we are going to have to start showing and proving certain things, right? This is the Caribbean. A lot of the islands in the Caribbean have a lot of mountains. This one is very rare, though, because this one is actually shaped like the back of a turtle. It's straight downwards. You see that? Now, when they're saying that the Arawaks was terminated and was wiped out, it's not true, because until this very day, no Europeaner, no colonizer knows how to maneuver down these mountains. Watch the motorcycle. He didn't ride on the rocks. He rode in between the lines that was already smoothed out. He didn't ride on the rocks. He rode in between the lines, the tire marks that was already there. Pay attention. He knew every turn and every crevice. He knew how to turn so he wouldn't run into another oncoming bike. He knew how to turn so if there was somebody else walking up the hill, up the mountain, he wouldn't hit them neither. And he wasn't really slowing down. He was still going at a certain pace, still going up and down there, right? And this is what I'm trying to tell you guys till this very day. These Europeans, these colonizers, they still don't know how to maneuver up these mountains. So to say, well, all the Arawaks got wiped out, that's not true. They didn't get wiped out. We're still there. We're still in the mountains by the millions. By the millions. It's just that we detached ourselves from the lower lands because that's where the piracy was going on. That's where the pirates were. That's where all the drama between the British, the French, and the Spaniards was taking place. That was their war until they encroached upon us. Then we entered into the war. They encroached upon us. Understand? And anyone seeing how the land makeup is can say, oh, and Copper Hotstep made a good point. That these men with these muskets and these one-shot guns, where they literally show you in the movies that they literally had to bite the bag and pour the gunpowder down the thing and then had a little stick to jam the gunpowder down. If I got an arrow, I'm whipping your ass. Because it's pop. Give me next arrow, pop. Next arrow, pop. You see what I'm saying? Like, these are little details that a lot of us wasn't paying attention to. Yes, by the millions. It's millions of us on each and every single one of these islands to this very day. By the millions. We still exist there now by the millions. Yeah. It's about 3 million people on the island of Zamaka. The majority of those people are still up in the mountains. All right. So, you know, we can't ignore these details. To go around this stuff and ignore this stuff will be doing a great injustice. And like I said before, I'm not going to ignore my ancestral spirits, my ancestors. They guide me in a direction, and that is where I'm going. And they guided me in this direction, and this is where I'm going. The history books show Tortuga to be Turtle Island to belong to Haiti, Hispaniola. Right? And then it's so funny because even into the telling of the history, you're going to see how the Dominicans them now ended up on the island of Haiti and why the island was divided. You're going to see even all of that now. It even tells you, it even shows you how the island became divided and how the Dominicans ended up on the island of Haiti. It's going to break down all that. Matter of fact, let's get into some of these articles that are are also saved up as well, right? And let me also show y'all something. So y'all in the video, y'all heard they talk about the last name Briggs and Lowe, right? Which those names are also common throughout the Americas, right? So now we're going to show, well, in another video. I ain't going to touch that now. We're going to touch in another video how some of these names also got mixed up also as well through history. And it has to go back to doing with the towns that they were emptying out and using children as laborers and then shipping the children all over the other countrysides into other countries also as well. Because when they were shipping out those children, they was giving them their last names and also taking their last names also as well. When those children parents was being murdered, they took those children's last names and was giving them their last names. So this is how some of us probably even ended up with the name Lowe's, Briggs, Riggs, also as well. All identity theft, right? So understand this. Now, let's touch on this. We'll shut this down right here as well. Does it take so long to load? Yeah, they really trying to mess with this connection. Let's shut that down too. Also, okay. Which one is it? There's a passing regions. Let me see if this is it. All right. If this is it. Gotta make sure that I had it in order. Okay. All right, let's read this article. I'd wanted to read this article last to y'all, but we'll read it first. Let's read this one, right? Because this is also important. Now, to show you that we're not making this stuff up, this is the actual map of Turtle Island. That's it right there. It's an actual map. This is the actual map of Turtle Island. Okay? This is it. The actual map of Turtle Island. Right? This is also going to come into play. This is later on, though. We're going to touch on it later on when we get into more research to show the Ashanti War with the Redcoats, right? But these Ashantis were American Indians, right? That they try to say this was over in Africa. No, it wasn't. This is over here on Hispaniola, because the Haitians wasn't only fighting the French, they was fighting the British also. They was fighting the blue coats and the red coats. Now y'all know what the red and white means on that goddamn flag also as well, because the blue coats and red coats came to a union underneath which order? The order of what? The Vatican. There goes your white also in the red, white, and blue. Okay? So pay attention. Watch this. Tortuga, known as Le de la Tortuga, was a bastion of debauchery in the 1600s. Discovered by the Spanish, the island was named Tortuga, Turtle Island, in honor of its turtle-like shape. Tortuga sits above 3 leagues off the northwestern shore of present-day Haiti, formerly known as Hispaniola. In its heyday, the island's strategic location attracted pirates of unsavory renown who intercepted weighted down galleons heading through the Windward Passage toward the Spanish Main. Now, remember when I was touching on leeward and windward, because how was also being told I used to think leeward and windward just meant on the island of Zamaka, right? But we had the leeward side and the windward side of the island. But no, this is something major. This is an entire streamway of ocean, right? This is 2 sides to the ocean, the leeward and the windward side. That means the lands, any lands that is also around this portion of the ocean are considered leeward and windward, right? Anyway, So, all right, heading through the Windward Passage towards the Spanish Main, right? Towards the Spanish Main, 20 miles long and 4 miles wide. Tortuga was a pirate capital of the Caribbean until Port Royal rose to fame as the Sodom of the New World. Don't get it. Don't think Sodom means so homosexual or so on and so on and so. No, that's not what they meant here, right? So when y'all look up the etymology of the word Sodom, you're gonna see. Okay, I'm just not gonna. I ain't gonna do that right now. Y'all can do that. This is one of the original maps of Tortuga. This is your Tortuga right here. Now they displace the story of Tortuga throughout and try to mix up the story and try to get you not to come back to here, to focus on the story of here, because of a lot of the things, key components of our history that was taking place here on this island. A lot of the treaties and the contracts that took place here on this island that forms now what we now call the United States Incorporated. Now you know the names of the families, right? Or the names of the colonizers, right? Or the supposed names. All right, let's put supposed names of the colonizers. So you know, if you see the Caucasian upper class elite so-called families with these so-and-so names, these are the families that are running your shit. These are the families. This is why they don't want you to focus on the history of Turtle Island, Tortuga. Let's go. Tortuga, this is what it says. It says Tortuga during the Brethren of the Coast period in the 17th century. This is it. That's the map. Ever since its strategic discovery, Spain sought to control Tortuga. The French having been ousted from the island many times. Now, before the Spaniards came, who was out in the French? Who was out in the French? Can you see that? The Arawaks is in here. Who was out in the French before the Spaniards came? Come on. Ever since its strategic discovery, Spain sought to control Tortuga. The French, having been ousted from the island many times, set a plan into motion in 1605 that forced Spanish residents to abandon their homes and livestock for the final time. As a result, terrified Spaniards fled Tortuga and settled on the northeastern coast of Hispaniola, which they now call the Dominican Republic, leaving behind hunters, former convicts, and indentured servants. Right? Now they say that they left behind hunters and former convicts. This is where we got to start dismantling the propaganda, the whole bullshit, right? If you're fleeing from one place to go to another place that you haven't been before, why would you leave behind your hunters if at this time Haiti till this very day, and a lot of the islands till this very day, is majority jungle trees? Why would you leave the folks who will hunt for the food for you? Why? That makes no sense. But anyway, let's get into it. As a result, terrified Spaniards fled Tortuga and settled on the northeastern coast of Hispaniola, leaving behind hunters, former convicts, and indentured servants. Former convicts. Now again, the slave trade was also a prison industry. Understand this. It was a prison industry, literally meaning these folks literally got convicted of crime, of criminal acts, criminal offenses, right? Now it says the Arawak Indians taught these hunters how to cure the meat of pigs and cattle on wooden grates called bacons. And the French later gave these hunters the name buccaneer or buccaneer. As time passed, Tortuga's buccaneers earned a good living selling beef and pork jerky, hides, and tallow, a substance used to coat the hulls of ships as a precaution against Toretto worms, which cause paramount damage to the planks, meaning they had wood eating worms. So the fat, the hide, what they was using to cover the ship, coat the ship, was what was protecting the wood at the time from those worms. Okay? Plain and simple. Now, who taught these hunters? The Arawaks. The Arawaks taught the hunters how to hunt. The supposed hunters, who taught them how to cure the meat? The Arawaks taught them how to cure the meat. Now, it doesn't say Taino, the Arawaks. Okay? Because we want to get this straight. There's a push to wipe this name, the Arawakan Empire, out of history to replace it with the name Taino. Because once they replace the Arawakan Empire name with the word Taino, what they're going to bring in is the intermixing of the children that came from the invasions. You see what I'm saying? So they change when you change the name, you're changing the faces. That's it. Okay. So all right, we get it. They taught them, right? The Buccaneers banded together in groups of 6 or 8, agreeing to share all they had with one another. Some lived together as couples. This lifestyle was known as matelotag, a word taken from sailor in French. Matelotes shared their property until one outlived the other. Tortuga's governor brought in hundreds of prostitutes to entice buccaneers away from this practice, and many prostitutes married buccaneers only to find themselves shared between 2 women. Now, the buccaneers had a family home. They had a family structure still. Understand this, right? So what they did was they brought in a whole bunch of prostitutes to entice these men away from their women, destroying the family structure, the family household, right? Yo, this is juicy. Shared their property until they outlived the other. Okay, Tortuga's governor brought in hundreds of prostitutes to entice the buccaneers away from this practice, and many prostitutes married buccaneers only to find themselves shared between 2 men. Oh, woeful prostitute buccaneers were hardly fragrant lovers. Imagine a buccaneer's daily routine of slaughter, a process of rotting guts and cooked grease, which created a miserable stench that never washed off. Imagine kissing a face smeared with tallow, with tallow to fend off insects, and having to touch or clean a skirt constantly plattered with blood. Most buccaneers' clothing, trousers, belts, boots, and even brimless hats were made of untamed hide, which also contributed to their foul odor. They stunk, right? They didn't know fully how to make sure that the clothing was sufficient to where it didn't stink, it didn't smell, right? Aboriginal TV1, peace, brother, peace. On a day-to-day basis, buccaneers were a fearsome sight to behold. They marched around the island carrying a 6-foot matchlock and with a cutlass or 2 stashed in their belts, matching powder, horns, and bullet sacks strapped to their waist, which switched to and fro with each step. They sucked worm marrow from the bones of freshly butchered animals, gambled, practiced sharpshooting, and drank a mixture of rum and gunpowder to kill extra time. if not themselves having buried their past and assumed new identities. New identities. Which were the new identities? That's your names. They took on your names. They took on your names, your identity. That's what they took. And assumed new identities. They asked no questions and expected no questions from those around them. They were a smelly, motley crew, but for a time they were also wealthy, strong, and efficient because they was poor as shit where they came from. They didn't have anything. When hunting was poor, Tortuga's buccaneers turned to piracy, easily adopting a hunting on water. Where did they learn that from? If they learned how to hunt and they learned how to cure meat from the Arawaks, how did they learn how to hunt on water? How? From the very same Indians. And how to hunt on water, operating canoes hollowed out from tree trunks or single-sailed barks. They roved the sea with muskets instead of cannon, attacking under cover of night. Single-masted sloops soon became the vessel of choice due to how easily they were maneuvered in shallow water. And so their attention was drawn to Bermuda, where the fastest and best slopes of their kind, those which allowed for crews of close to 50 men and 11 to 14 guns. 50 men, 11 to 14 guns with 50 men could be found. With sturdy hulls beneath their feet, buccaneer members increased, and with that came success until Spain took notice. Okay? Exactly, Aboriginal Q. The people are not Taino. And this is what folks have to understand. The people are not Taino. They're trying to name the people Taino because they're trying to change the complexion of the people. That's like it's like we have like an Aborigine Pan-African movement going on the undergrounds within the community, or folks that look like us or trying to infiltrate within the community, trying to stir up these things, right? Now we got to understand this. Just like with the if y'all look at the Taino association and their main branch, right? When you go to even fill out the documentations and paperwork with them, the darker you are, the more they reject your application. The lighter you are is the more they accept your application to be a Taino, in what they call a Taino Indian. Now, you can't throw out the word Taino and not attach Arawak to it because the people are Arawaks. And you can't throw out the darker you or the browner you people away from Arawaks because the original Arawaks is darker you and brown people. That still exists to this very day. So what we have going on here, again, is still more genocide to the original people while they're trying to replace them right in front of our faces. Right? Well, all right, let's not even call it Hebrew language, right? Because some people are bothered by that word. Shamatic. It is the Shamatic language. And when you even look up the word Shamatic, shaman, Shah, you're going to start seeing a lot of connections. As much as people because they don't know. So I'm not going to say they don't want to admit it. They just don't know. This is where now, again, I say you always have to try to come up out of one state of mind and jump into another to see things from another angle, because all of these things are related to each other. Plain and simple. Okay? So, no, we are not Hebrew Israelites as people are out there saying. We are not that. Right? That's not even a people. Hebrew is not a people. So there's no such thing. But we can't sit here. We can't ignore Zion National Park. We can't ignore the Moab Desert that's here in America. We can't ignore these things. We can't ignore Utah, which is Utah. We can't ignore these things. Not Semitic, Shemitic. Not Semitic. There's a difference. Anyway, let's get back to it. But that's going to be something else for another live. You know, hopefully we could pull on Brother Awar on that live, you know, and get into it. All right, so where was I? When hunting was poor, Tortuga's buccaneers turned to piracy, easily adopting to hunting on water, operating canoes hollowed out from tree trunks or single-sailed barks. They roved the sea with muskets instead of cannon, attacking on the cover of night. Single-mast slopes soon became the vessel of choice due to how easily they were maneuvered in shallow water. Now, imagine this, right? I want you to imagine this. Peep this. The speed of how those vessels moved on shallow water, right? And they learned this from our ancestors, right? They learned these things from our ancestors. When our ancestors was warring with colonizers, with the colonizers that came, our ancestors was whooping their ass. If our ancestors was moving in the depths of night in those canoes, same way, they wasn't ready for that. Okay? Nah, brother, nah. But yeah. All right, so shallow water. And so their attention was drawn to Bermuda, where the fastest and best slopes of their kind, those which allowed the crews of close to 50 men and 11 to 14 guns could be found. With sturdy hulls beneath their feet, buccaneer members increased, and with that came success until Spain took notice. Now remember, it was the Spaniards that originally named the island Tortuga, okay? Before. It was the Spaniards that originally named the island Tortuga. Okay? The Spaniards. Tortuga's impregnable harbor, fertile soil, fresh water, and sheltered anchorage. Darkman Murphy, Darkman the immigrant. Oh, you gonna call ICE on me too? Huh? You call ICE on immigrants, right? Your troll name. Tortuga's impregnable harbor, fertile soil, fresh water, and sheltered anchorage attracted reprobates of every kind. The island's prime location at the head of the Windward Passage provided a vantage point from which the espy and strike loaded treasure ships heading back to Spain. As a result, Tortuga became the recruiting ground for French, Dutch, Danish, and English pirates alike. Its success encouraged men like Jean Levasseur, an engineer and governor of Tortuga in 1642, to build a massive fort to defend the city and its citizens, further giving rise to Tortuga's renown. Outrage that their galleons were being looted, the Spanish retaliated. Returning to the island, they slaughtered all the pigs and cattle they could find, hoping to forever cripple Tortuga's economy and teach the buccaneers not to trifle with Spain. Ironically, with all chance of livelihood gone, buccaneers were then forced to make a living the only other way they knew how. Spain, realizing its blunder too late, tried to reverse the damage, but every effort was continually repulsed. By this time, the little island of Tortuga had taken on a life of its own. It had become the common place of refuge of all sorts of wickedness, the seminary of pirates and thieves. In 1640, empowered by success, buccaneers began to call themselves the Brethren of the Coast and proceeded to follow a strict code, the custom of the coast. This code allowed them to elect a captain, agree on articles under which they sailed, right? This is where you're coming into your admiralty laws now, right? On the articles of which they sailed, and have shipboard meetings to determine where they were headed to hunt prey or acquire provisions. This is the boardrooms, the board meetings. The boardrooms, the board meetings, come aboard. You know what I'm saying? Lights and candles were to be put out at 8. Weapons were to be kept clean and fit for service. There would be no desertion, no quarreling, no stealing. The code also helped define divisions of booty. No prey, no pay. The captain and owner of the ship got extra shares. The shipwright or carpenter had a fixed salary. Surgeon's salary were also capped, and the first pirate to locate or seize a prize won an extra share, whereas cabin boys received a half share. Now, I'm going to stop it right there. I want to pull up something and show you guys. Let me see if it's still in my history, and we're going to show you the breakdown of what's going on today, right? When we're talking about the shares and the booties and the prize and all of that, right? I want y'all to understand. I really want y'all to totally get this shit. All right. Give me 1 second. Because this is I just thought about sharing this now with y'all. So this wasn't planned. So, you know, this is unscripted right here. Let me go find it and see, get the name of it and pull it up and share it right back with y'all. Right. So I'm pulling it up on my phone first. Right. Okay. So we're going to pull it up right now. So I'm going to reread back that passage, and reread it back. I'm going to show y'all an example of what they're talking about, of how they're of how the piracy is still taking place on land as well as in the seas today, and what they mean by piracy. Right? Let's see. Here we go. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Now this is coming from Ambis
Imagine how it would feel
99.
like to be the center of your technology. Now, stop imagining.
All right. Let me pause that. Let's go back to this article, and then we're going to go back to it. All right. So in 1640, empowered by success, buccaneers began to call themselves the Brethren of the Coast and proceeded to follow a strict code. The custom of the coast, this code allowed them to elect a captain, agree on articles under which they sailed, and have shipboard meetings to determine where they were headed to hunt prey or acquire provisions. Lights and candles were to be put out at 8. Weapons were to be kept clean and fit for service. There would be no desertion, no quarreling, no stealing. The code, understand this also, and so much to this passage that we're going to get back to. No quarreling, no stealing. The code also helped define divisions of booty. No prey, no pay. No prey, no pay. The captain and owner of the ship got extra shares. The shipwright or carpenter had a fixed salary. Surgeon's salary were also caped. And the first pirate to locate or seize a prize won an extra share, whereas cabin boys received a half share. Now let's get back to this. We're stating no stealing, no quarreling. Again, I told y'all, if y'all go into a courtroom or you're talking to an officer, when you get pulled over, you end up arguing with that officer, you are in dishonor. Understand me? You are in dishonor by their code. You are in dishonor. You are in violation. You see what I'm saying? Now I told you again, what is a crime? A crime is theft of someone's property, of harm of someone. Even when you steal someone's property that don't belong to you, was it yours? So yes, that is a crime. That is a part of messing with another man's property. Okay. Now, let's get to the booty. Let's get to the prize, the overtime money. The overtime money that these officers get every time they snag one of you up or every time they pull over one of you, right? That's the prize. This is the prize. And when they call a captain, right? The captain comes on the scene also as well to make sure that, you know, these buccaneers, these privateers, these pirates are doing what they're supposed to do. And then especially when they snatch one of you up now, you become the booty. You're the booty. That's way more extra money now, right there, when they snatch one of you up, right? Now watch this video. You're going to see privateering going on right here. Fair use, fair use. This is from Ambis 99's channel. You lose constitutional rights when in a vehicle. That's not true. But anyway, let's go.
How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Whatever the traffic stop was, doesn't really matter. I'm not here for that, obviously.
Oh,
Just
in case I started recording, you know, because
that's fine.
if anything, if I need it for court or anything.
You can record all you want, no problem.
Yo, you know what he said? He said whatever the traffic stop was, that doesn't even matter. He's not here for that. So then why you at the window? You see what I'm saying? Why you at the window? Like that's where with me, the whole conversation would have took a complete different turn. But anyway, that's this dude right here. Let's go.
You're obligated when you're in a motor vehicle to present your ID.
When you're driving?
When you're in the motor vehicle, yes, like right now.
Can I see what law is that?
I don't have the law book on me. I know the law.
So if you know it,
if you weren't in the car, parked in a parking lot, no. But as far as the motor vehicle being operated, yes.
Like, so get the law for me. Give me what law it is, and then you're a police officer. Just looking at all the laws and
Let me talk to you. Step out of the car.
I'm not stepping out of the car.
Huh?
I'm not stepping out of the car for my safety.
Safety?
For my safety.
Do you think we're going to need your help?
No, but once you tell somebody to step out of the car, it's either they're being arrested, you're going to take them in for questioning or something like that. Okay. If I'm not going to be... I'd rather stay here where this is recording in case something happens.
Mr. Lawyer, okay?
No, I told him I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer.
Attorney,
but
okay?
I value my rights. I have rights. I know the Constitution. You know, I know what rights I have.
We do with every single you give up your rights when you're in the car.
When you're driving.
When you're driving.
When you're driving.
You have to present your ID.
Yeah, when you're driving.
Your ID, that's fine. But you got to give them a name.
I'm not giving out my name just because. Because it's going to start, I need your name. I need your date of birth. You're going to look me up. You're going to have my address. You're going to have all the information. Yeah. But what crimes did I commit?
He didn't say you committed any, did he?
No one's saying we do it with every single car.
Yep.
As far as you getting out of the car, I know you're thinking you're Joe Attorney.
No, I don't think that. I don't think that.
You're getting arrested, you're going to get arrested.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not.
All right, so when you say I'm being arrested, then we'll take it from there.
Why would I say that? Why would I say you're being arrested?
I don't know.
Sitting in the passenger
Yeah,
seat?
because you're asking me for my name, my date of birth.
That's just so for our safety. That's why we do.
Yeah,
that.
but why did he get?
What's going on is they're trying to force him to contract with them, right? They're trying to force him to contract with them. This is pirating, okay? When a pirate forcibly on boards your ship and forces you to give up your goods and all of that, they're forcing you to contract with them, especially when the pirates say, hey, you know, on your next haul, when you come, we're going to come back and we're going to come check you and we're going to come and we're going to take this and we're going to take that. All right? Is that okay? That's good? And you'd be like, yeah, sure. You did that out of fear. It's forced contracting. This is what they're doing. You see, he already got them by saying, show me the law. They can't show the law. That means he didn't commit no crime. He broke no laws. So now they're going to try to make stuff up. Why? Because they done got his friend already. They gave his friend a ticket, which is going to be overtime for that next officer, which is that's that extra prize, right? Now they're trying to snag one. They're trying to lock one up. So this is why they want him to get out the car, right? So they want to be able to take a body away with them also as well, because the captain is going to come on the scene. When the captain comes on the scene, that's going to be way more money for the captain and some more money for the little officers underneath the captain here. What is a captain? The captain of the ship. Understand? They're going to try to get him to forcibly board their ship, which is their precinct. Okay? This is why they're trying to mess with him. Let's go.
Get pulled over, right?
Had him for speeding.
Okay, so that's his problem.
Yeah, but
I'm just getting the ride home.
listen, but you're in the car, okay?
Yeah, but I didn't commit a crime. I didn't speed.
We're not saying that you did. We identify everyone in the car.
You're not
every
listening
single car
to me.
stop.
I am listening.
Okay. You get out of the car, okay? We don't just arrest people to get out of the car. We just don't tell you to get out for the heck of it, okay? For our safety, we ask for ID. Now you're obligated by the state to do that. Okay?
No, he's not.
Do you see anybody shooting? Do you see anybody with a bazooka?
So I'm not here to be a debate. That's for court, okay?
All right, so whatever you got to do, but I'm not giving up my rights. I'm not giving up my rights.
Exactly.
And I know that's not a law. Once you tell me the law, what number it is, everything, we're going to look it up, and,
It is
you know,
a law,
stuff like
but I'll
that.
be right back. I'll
All
be
right.
right back. Where are you guys from?
Providence?
Providence?
Oh, they're trying to cut the connection again. It's none of their business. You see that? They don't know the law. Because there isn't none. Look, they come back with the captain. And an undercover. And the undercover.
What's going on?
Just going home from work.
See, no law. They don't know no law. Now this is the intimidation tactic. They have to intimidate you to get you to submit to their privacy.
Hey, can you hop off just for a minute? I just want to talk to you real quick.
Nah, I want to stay with the cameras recording.
Now, I'm gonna show you that how none of the tactic changed. Remember the first video, the video that I played, and they was telling you how the other pirate chopped off the man's lips, cooked it, and made him eat it, and all that to intimidate, so that anytime they board anyone else's ship, there will be no resistance. You'll just comply. This is what they're doing. Their tactics has never changed. These are pirates. Piracy on the high seas. Okay, and the privateers, the buccaneers, all these folks. Okay, let's go.
Because I don't know, I don't want to be.
Feel free to bring the camera with you.
I don't want to carry that and having in your face,
Okay.
But I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to take you guys away from doing your job and stuff. But they say that when you have rights, either you use them or you lose them.
You're not disrespectful, okay? But you are breaking the law.
I am.
Okay. United States Supreme Court says we have every right to take you out of this car while we conduct the traffic stop.
Even when I'm not being arrested, I wasn't driving. I don't have any problem.
Now he said the United States Supreme Court, right? Let's get into it. I'm gonna show you guys something again. United States Supreme Court. They funny. They're real funny. You got one court that deals with corporations, right? Dead entity, land, right? Property. And you got one court that deals with the living, breathing man, right? Now look. Now, this is the Supreme Court of the United States. You see how it's rephrased? The Supreme Court of the United States, which this is the corporation. This is in Washington, D.C. This is in the District of Columbia. Okay? Now, you also have that one, this one here. It deals with corporations. It deals with that entity. It deals with property. It deals with subjects, citizens, okay, who are underneath the jurisdiction of the District of Columbia. All right. Now you have if I get the image or not. Give me one sec. Let me try to find it back for y'all. Yeah. This court right here. This court right here is two Supreme Courts in America, on the land of America. You have the corporate court that deals with corporate issues, right? And then you have the one that deals with the living, breathing man, and that is in Pittsburgh, right? It's in Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, right? I believe it's Harrisburg here. It should be in. Let's click. Make sure. All right. I just want to show you how to pitch. I don't want to read through all of this. I already did I did videos on this already. It's the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It deals with the Commonwealth, right? I don't want to read through all that. Anyway. So if anyone remember when I was with AAPN with Colinago and them, right? And Colinago had went up to Pittsburgh, right? One of the reasons was because of this court right here, which what I'm trying to pull up is buried. I'm glad they buried it. I'll be able to pull it up in another video, but I'm just trying to get y'all the gist of it. There's two Supreme Courts. There's two Supreme Courts. One deal with the living, breathing man, and the other one deals with corporation. The one that deals with the living, breathing man is in Pittsburgh, right? Is over there. I'm trying to get the exact address for y'all. That's not it. Because that court was the one dealing with George Washington and your founding fathers. Yeah, not ours, but their founding fathers. Their four founding fathers. All right. That's that court dealing with the man, the living, breathing person. I forget it. Like I'm gonna pull it up in another thing, right? But I'm just giving you all the gist. Y'all could go research it. All right. Now let's get back to the to this.
Okay, he's late for, he's giving me a ride, as a courtesy, for me, because my car broke down. I'll give you my ID, all right? So I've been here for 31 years in this country, never been arrested, don't have any kind of,
I'm not arguing any of that.
I don't have any records, everything's clean,
Do we have his ID?
Yeah, I'll give it to him now. My friend, if it was me, I'll be here till 5 in the morning. I don't have it. Yeah, I'll just give it to you. Okay. So I'm gonna reach for my ID, all right?
Go right ahead.
Just for my friend. Yep. I'll give up my rights for my friend.
Now look.
That's nothing to do.
You see, they came in to intimidate him. It was 2 officers first, right? And then they came back as 4. Now the 2 that left said that they was going to go look up the law, and they came back with 2 other people. You see what I'm saying? They came back with 2 other people to intimidate him. It's piracy. Piracy. That's all it is, right? So this is what I'm trying to show y'all. Like, look, man, you can't ignore the history of the pirate age, because the history of the pirate age took place in the Americas. You see what I'm saying? So it affects your home. It affects your mother, right? America is your mother, or America is the grandmother, right? It's his home. These guys came here and perfected their piracy here in the Americas. And when they perfected it, they learned how to change up the form. Why did they have to change up the form? Because when they try to implement it on the Indians started fighting back and whooping their ass. Understand this. So now they created this supposed judicial system, this legal system, right? Where they also give you remedy inside of that system. They give you remedy. You have the remedy in there, but you just have to go search, look for it, and learn what it is so that you can use it. When he hit them with, that's not a crime, show me the law, that's remedy right there. Now they can't show him nothing. They had to walk off and come back from 2 to 4 deep. You see what I'm saying? Now, he gave up his rights because he didn't want his friend to get snagged. You see what I'm saying? So he was thinking about his friend, whatever. That, you know what I mean? That's commendable, but that's also stupid at the same time, because if he stuck to his guns, then they couldn't do nothing to his friend neither, right? Because they couldn't show no law. So he broke no crime. He broke no law. He committed no crime. They have no reason to be over there. By their codes and statutes, they're not supposed to be talking to the passenger, period. The passenger is not the one driving. They have no business going over to the passenger. The passenger is not supposed to talk to them, period.
All right, here you go. You're not going to find anything. I just want to, when you have the rights, if you don't use it, you lose it. And that's what it's going in this country already.
You do have rights, and I understand that. I'm well versed in the Constitution.
Yeah, I follow.
You do have rights.
Yeah, I follow. I try to follow all the laws. I try to learn everything, So
but you do have to identify yourself.
They say if you're being arrested, there's probable cause, or you're being a danger,
Yeah, I know who you are as the passenger if you don't tell us. So.
Yeah, but I wasn't driving. I didn't commit any crime. There's no probable cause that I'm going to commit a crime. You didn't catch me in the act of committing a crime.
You know what I'm saying? We don't know who you are.
Yeah, but
that's not a crime, though. You see, once you give your ID and they go back to their computer with it, they put you in their system. So they don't have to fingerprint you or nothing like that to have you in their system. They don't have to take you to the precinct or none of that. All they need is your ID. They go back and they put you in their system. All right?
But you know what I'm saying, too?
I do. I do. However, just so you know, in the future, you do have to provide.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to call the chief of police and ask him, just to make sure, because if it is, and I'm wrong, the next time, I know better,
Well, the Attorney General's office, they can really tell you. Just tell them the situation. I was a passenger in a car. I was asked to provide my ID. I'll let you know that is the case.
Okay, I want to find that out because I try to keep up with all the laws, and if that's a new law and I don't know about it, I want to find out. Yeah, I just wrote that today on Facebook. I said, all
right, y'all get the gist of that video. Also, there's no such thing as any new laws. There hasn't been any laws since 1933 written in their system. There have not been any laws since 1933 written in their system. Okay? Plain and simple. So anytime they talk about this is a new law, that's bullshit. It's not a law. All right. Let's go back to let's pull up the other thing that I wanted to pull up. Let's close out this. Let's close out this. Let's get back into this. Exactly. Statutes and codes, Aboriginal Q. Statutes and codes. And the reason being statutes and codes because they're a corporation and they got you to take on their it's like a passport, right? You have that United States passport, everything is in all caps. You agree to have that. That marks you now property of the corporation and also marks you as dead, right? So how is a corporation ran? A corporation is ran with statutes and codes. So since you are property of the corporation and you are a part of that corporation, you are ran on the statutes and codes, right? So now let's say you have a world passport. That takes you out of the confinement of the corporation, right? Now, let's say the corporation is the United States. Boom, you take the United States passport, you go to France, right? And now you coming back from France, they allow you back they allow you back through the airports in America, right? Now, the United States and America is not the same. The United States is a corporation. Understand this. America is the land. So if you have the world passport and your passport states that you are an American, right? You're an American national. Then what is your country? You know that each state is a country, right? So if I come from New York, then my country is going to be New York. So if I jump on a plane back from France to come back to New York, they cannot deny you. Because your country is New York. They can't deny you. You're an American national. They can't deny you access to America, period. If you go ahead and you go get a passport and you put so-and-so of the world and you have no location still put down on there, then they can tell you, well, go back to somewhere else then, wherever, if you're so-and-so of the world. Right? That's it. Now let's pull up this right here. Like, there's so much information out here about this, right? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit also the library as well and start doing some real deep fishing into this as well. I tried to go on the National Archives of Haiti and pull it up, and they denied me access. They said access denied. Denied. All right, here we go again. This is another article, right? Pirate Den, Tortuga. Now, I'm gonna pull up also a actual picture of Tortuga. You're gonna see it's not that different. It's not that different from this right here. Not that different from this right here. That you're looking at this. It dead seriously shaped like a turtle, right? Tortuga, this little island and the small northwest part of Hispaniola was the strongest buccaneers base for many years, and alongside Port Royal, the most important in buccaneer history. Triangle trade. Triangle trade describes the tendency of naval merchants shipping to travel between three trading posts on the different continents. The presence of such established routes enabled pirates to plan their raids and disturb economies of many countries. This is why Tortuga was important. Understand? New Providence, famous pirates hideout, which later transformed into the center base of the Caribbean, surpassing piracy, right? Now, let's get into the article fully now of Tortuga. Tortuga is an island located in the Caribbean as the northwest part of Hispaniola. In the 17th century, it became the first big establishment of buccaneers alongside Port Royal. The island was the strongest and safest buccaneers port in the mid-17th century, a place from where they launched numerous attacks on Spanish colonies. In 1625, French and English colonists who were early buccaneers arrived on this island. First, they lived on the island of Hispaniola. They were constantly wandering from one location to another until they finally found the Tortuga as the safest place. Why did they find it as the safest place? The terrains was too rough for anybody else to come on to say that they wanted to come and invade. Before then, this island inhabited only a small group of Spanish colonists in the southern region. Mind you, the Arawaks was already there, right? The other article states that the Arawaks taught them how to hunt and cure meat. The Arawaks taught them how to survive, right? Now, if you go back in the earlier mindset of our ancestors, when it came to the land, even though some of the ancestors was like, F them, we don't want them here, the universe, we went by the Creator's law, right? We went by the Creator's law. Once if they respect your space, they respect your space, your culture, or whatever, then you can share the land, right? That's why they taught them how to hunt and cure meat. Okay, it is what you call an universal contract, a spiritual contract. But once that contract is violated, then you gotta go. Right? In 1625, which is what they did to our ancestors, they violated the contract. Hence, they act like they came in peace. We fed them, clothed them, so on and so and so, taught them how to hunt, showed them how to grow corn and all of this, right? And they betrayed us. In 1625, French and English colonists who were clearly buccaneers arrived on this island first. They lived on the island of Hispaniola. They were constantly wandering from one location to another until they finally found the Tortuga as the safest place. Before them, this island inhabited only a small group of Spanish colonists in the southern region. Hear what they said? It only before the French and the Brits came, it was only a small group of Spanish that was there. And the folks who taught those Spaniards how to survive was the Arawak Indians. So that means the Spaniards and the Arawaks was not warring on Tortuga. They weren't fighting each other. They weren't fighting. The French and English colonists started setting up plantations and populated island in a short time. The French and the English came with the massive wave of colonization and invasion. The French and the English. Okay? The French and the English colonists started setting up plantations and populated island in a short time. They were temporarily expelled as a potential threat to Spaniards when Don Federico de Toledo attacked Tortuga in 1629. The encouraged army came back to Hispaniola, determined to root out every colonist. And who were they attacking in 1629? They were attacking the French and the Brits. That's who they were at war with. They weren't at war with the Arawaks. Okay? Those Spaniards weren't warring with the Arawaks. They were warring with the French and the Brits. So these three have been warring with each other for years over that small island. Okay, the encouraged army came back to Hispaniola, determined to root out every colonist until not single one remained. However, Spanish did not predict that scattered settlers would organize and return to the island and defeat small remains of Spanish force. For decades, Tortuga was pirate heaven and the best place to sell captured plunder. Captured plunder, that could also mean people, right? Other Indians from other places, right? Throughout the Americas. This is why they have to get you to go underneath the all caps name. Once you go underneath the all caps name, you've become captured by these very same privateers and buccaneers. You've become captured. And then they take that all caps name that is on that burst form, and they take it and they put it on the stock market, and they trade it back and forth. Sell it back and forth all over. Understand? Okay. From 1630, the island of Tortuga was divided into French and English colonies. See that? Divided. This is how they started creating their borders, right? Their borders also. In 1630, the island of Tortuga was divided into French and English colonies. It provided a good base for buccaneers' attacks, as well as some other activities like slave trades. Tortuga saw two more successful Spanish raids in 1635 and 1638, and both times the buccaneers managed to retain possessions back. In 1639, to finally establish the descent defense as the governor of nearby St. Christopher, now St. Kitts, sent help in Jean Levasseur, who was promoted to the new governor of Tortuga. He built the stone fortress Fort de Rocher on the highest rise of the island. It was enforced with 40 guns and overlooked any vessels in or near the port. In 1665, Tortuga was temporarily captured by Spanish one more time, and then the island became a part of Saint Dominique colony. Saint Dominique is Hispaniola. Yeah, get that? Hispaniola is Saint Dominique, which is what they now today call Haiti. Haiti. Turtle Island belongs to Haiti. Okay. So St. Kitts, rebuilt stone. Okay. New governor fortress. He built the stone fortress Fort de Rocher on the highest rise of the island. It was enforced with 40 guns and overlooked any vessels in or near the port. Until 1665, Tortuga was temporarily captured by Spanish one more time, and then the island became a part of Saint Dominique colony. The new governor, Bertrand de Ogeron, right? De Ogeron, I wonder if that's where Oregon comes from, had difficulties to convince the buccaneers to accept him. However, he managed to develop Tortuga even more by organizing people and strengthen its defense. In the following period, some of the greatest buccaneers, such as Henry Morgan and Francis L. Olanius, launched attack from Tortuga and became part of island history. From 1670, as the buccaneer era was in wane, the most buccaneers found a new trade like log cutting and trading wood from the island, and many others continued their piracy on the ships of foreign nations. In 1684, a peace was signed between France and Spain. Here we go now. And soon there were no more buccaneers in Tortuga, as well as in the Caribbean. Spain officially gave up Tortuga as part of Saint Dominique to France in 1697. Today, Tortuga is belonging to Haiti. The island is 40 kilometers long, 7 kilometers wide, and its highest point, it is 465 meters above the sea. It is called Le de la Tortue by the native, which refers to the turtle-like shape of the island. Turtle Island. Now, why is it that Turtle Island became a part of the colony of Hispaniola? Because after they signed their treaties and thought they was doing what they were thinking, the Arawaks got tired of their asses and kicked their asses completely off of the island and defeated them and took back their shit because they was trying to take the land from them. And they took back their island. See, the Arawaks are always listed as very humble people, right? But we were very engineering, smart, and strategic. Once it got out of hand, once you encroached upon our stuff and we saw that you were fully trying to take our stuff, we armed up and kicked your ass. This is where now you're going to go into the Dirty Bookman story. You're going to go into the Queen Nanny story. This is where you're going to go into the Toussaint Louverture story, right? Jean Jocelyn Vasquez story, right? This is of Zamaka and Hispaniola coming together to defeat the British and the French. And this is how the Arawaks, the Arawak Indians, was able to go up through North and South America and start freeing the other Indians that were captured. All of this took place. So when you are telling the story of the Americas, we can't just stick to one place. We have to tell the story of the Americas, all places, because it all links and connects back together. Right? And I know this might make some people uncomfortable, but this is the history. If we can admit that the Haitians, it was the Haitians that went and freed so-and-so in Florida, and it was the Haitians that went and freed so-and-so all the way up into Brazil. Those are Arawaks. They went up and they was freeing not only their Arawakan brothers and sisters that was captured, but other tribesmen and women from other locations. They were freeing them. It's just sad that today they're under this attack and none of the tribesmen and other brothers are coming to their aid today. In no way, shape, or form. It's sad. That's it, right? Let's get into the next article. This is it the top one? No, we read that one already. Wasn't that one? Short history of Tortuga, 1625 to 1688. Mind you, this is when the natives started. We're just going to say natives, right? But the American Indians started to become restless around in about 1688 more so, right? Because the Haitian Revolution kicked off in the 1700s, right? Pay attention. Like we got tired. It was like, y'all gotta go. Take that shit somewhere else. Now, settlement by the French, 1625 to 1632. While we're going to do that, let me also post something else up here. Let me close this out right here. I like to also keep my links saved also as well, right? I want to do something. I did some screenshots on my phone, but I don't want to do that. I just want to pull it up live for you guys, right? One more time. Let me show y'all. Look, Tortuga. This is it right here. Right? Here goes Hispaniola right here. This is Haiti right here. Here goes Tortuga right here. Now pay attention. Here goes the head of the turtle right here. Here goes the shell of the turtle right here. Here goes the tail of the turtle down here. Here goes the little fin of the turtle coming out here. Right? The legs of the turtle. One here, one here. It's the same with the other side. Okay? This is why it's called Turtle Island. Close that out. Now something else. Now look, this is the island off the coast of Florida that they built a wall around, right? To make it seem like it's a turtle. You see what I'm saying? But that's not it. All of the history goes back to this right here. This right here. This is where all of the history goes back to. Now, when you Tortuga is dark-skinned folks, right? Dark-skinned folks. Here we go again. Here it goes again right here. Right? These are the Arawaks. They're still there. All these wars happened. And look at them. They're building their boat, and they're still building their boats. Look at the boats that's being built right here. They still build their boats. And this ain't no canoes that they build in here to show you that the skill was still there. You see what I'm saying? All the wars that happened between the French, the Brits, right? The Spanish, and those people left, got wiped out, left. Look, these people, the Arawaks, they're still there. They're still there. They haven't gone anywhere. They're still there. So some folks got detached from their culture. So they don't know nothing else other than what they read in books. Some folks have still strong ties to their culture. Some folks got detached, but still have those in the family that are still living the country life up there in the mountains, that are still doing the farm life, that still well knows where the tombs are at all times. So all we have to do is make a phone call if we don't know something, and we're going to get the oral story of it. Some people don't have that. So they have to go by a lot of what they come across reading, right? Now, if you take what you come across reading and you interpret that with the oral story that you are given to by your elders or by your people, then you can make sense out of nonsense, which is what I'm doing also right now. Okay? The folks on the island of Haiti are Arawaks, right? Now, we know the Arawak is an empire. And it's not a small empire. It is a great, large empire that extends throughout the greater Antilles, through portions of the lesser Antilles, up into South America. Don't mess up, David. But this is what it is. Like, now I'm going to be real honest. When I founded this channel was founded to tell history, right? And I got distracted away from who I am and who my peoples are and got stuck into the pro-black thing. And when I came across, not gonna lie, Colinago is one of them that I came across, right? Dane Calloway's channel was one of them that I came across, right? It was this channel that this Caucasian person was running on here that I came across. And they was breaking down the biblical names of some of these clans that they were called, right? And to where the names changed throughout history. And upon going back and having a conversation with my mother, IG Major, no doubt. I'm gonna check it out. Upon having conversations with my mother and my grandmother told me what she could, right? My mother told me what she could. My aunt told me what they could. You know what I had to do? I had to go and contact my family members that still live in the country today. And this is how I started getting a lot more of the story. Then I came across Brother Awar, right? Brother Dynasty. And this is how I started getting some more of the story. Then we came across the Yenkunkun Pikibo, the Arawaks, right? The Yenkunkun Pikibo is a clan underneath the Arawakan Empire. To show you that there's, just like how y'all say the Cherokee Nation and there's multiple different clans underneath the Cherokee banner, it's the same thing with the Arawakan Empire. Okay? Check the about section for your YouTube channel. Might want to make a change. Okay, all right, no doubt, no doubt. But what did you see on there? All right, so this is it. This is how this brought me back to home. this and me and some of the names that I called, we butt heads. And I still don't agree with some of them to this very day, right? And past actions, but that's what it is. That's past. But at the end of the day, this is how I came back home. Understand this. This is how I came back home. And now mastering what I am mastering. You see what I'm saying? Learning what I am learning. Right? And because of the fact that when we do these things, we have to have knowledgeable people that is able to teach us. And I'm thankful that I have Brother Awar. I'm thankful that I can still call my family members up in the country. I am thankful that I still have memories as a child going up into the country and still experiencing the culture. A lot of folks is not able to do that. A lot of folks is not able to say, damn, I could call this family member and go up into this part of the country. Yeah, definitely, brother. I got to change that. And go up into this section of the country and so on and so. You see what I'm saying? A lot of folks can't do that. Can't. So there's going to be some disattachment with the history of some folks. And this is why I started tethering how I'm looking at the history now, because I'm like, look, I am an American, but I am from the islands of the Americas. And there's not much people out there telling the story of the islands. As more so the story of what we call mainland is being told, the story of the islands is being buried. Because if I never came across this information and let y'all know that Turtle Island is really on Tortuga off the coast of Hispaniola, a lot of folks would still be calling themselves Turtle Islander, right? Not knowing where it came from. This is where it came from. And folks is out there that's going to be upset, but you look, man, that it is what it is. But this is what it is. And these people, they still exist to this very day. Here they go right here. Right? That's them. So the young boys, they're on the beach being unharassed. There's no one there to tell them they can't go swim in that water. That's not theirs. This is why you have to see why Haiti's always on any consistent attack. So much so now. Now you know why there's a divide between Haiti and what they call the Dominican Republic, right? Because the Spaniards that fled on that push on the island and that was given refuge by the Haitians, by the Arawaks, given refuge, signed a treaty with the French and the Brits. So now the whole thing now is to fight to get Haiti. Remember when Columbus and them came and described Haiti, walking on Haiti, they were walking on gold. They were walking on gold. It was gold protruding through the dirt. You could just see it in the rivers, in the streams, gold. Yeah, you remember, Arawak is just the name of the empire, right? The Arawakan Empire. So when you're talking about the Caribbean islands, majority of that are Arawakan clans that falls underneath the Arawakan banner. And then you're going to have your Kalinagos, and then you're going to have some of your Caribs. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is real spit. This is it. We didn't drop this information to say, yo, let's see whose feelings we could hurt. Let's see whose feathers we could ruffle. But this is the history of that island. This is where the United States Incorporated was planned out, was mapped out. Port Royal and Tortuga. So we can't ignore these two places. Port Royal now is underwater. And we see a lot of these Europeans now diving in the waters of Zamaka and going down towards Port Royal, rooting up all the riches, all the treasures out of it to this very day. To this very day. Understand this. This is not put to hurt anyone's feelings. This is not put to spit in the history, in anyone's history. We are correcting as we go. This is what it is. We are correcting as we go. This is the real Turtle Island. It is Tortuga. It is off the coast of Hispaniola. It is a part of the colony of Haiti. That's it. These people still exist to this very day. We got to stop believing the story like, well, these people came and wiped out these people, because the Negroes of Jamaica still outnumber the colonizers to this very day. The Negroes of Haiti still outnumber the colonizers to this very day. The Negroes of Cuba still outnumber the colonizers to this very day. And this is why throughout the history, when you see that Fidel change from when he was younger to getting up in age, when he changed and he started letting the Caucasian fraction of the island of Cuba let them know, like, yo, I'm taking all y'all wealth from you, and we're gonna divvy it up evenly throughout the entire island. Those are the folks that try to get Fidel assassinated multiple times. You know why he did that? It was honoring what the Arawaks did for his ancestors when they taught them how to hunt and cure meat, and how to take the fur to use as covering, so that, because sometimes at night, the islands get cold when you're close to the waters. These folks is close to the waters, teaching them how to survive. It's not much of the colonizers' descendants honor that. You see what I'm saying? It's not much of their descendants honor that, but the few, the ones that do, we have to respect them, because they don't have to come out and also give us or try to leak information to us that they know that there's some of us out there can catch on to and see what's going on. They don't have to warn us. They can keep their mouth shut and keep you in limbo all day long. Yeah, the Caribs and the Arawaks aren't the same people. The Arawaks warred with the Caribs, right? The Arawaks warred with the Caribs. And then along the line, they also, actually, you know what? You can also say they are, because they did intermix with each other also as well. After warfare and stuff, they did intermix with each other. So that's why again, the saying is, you know what I mean, out of one many. Out of one many. Because the island folks, the mainland folks, we was all knocking each other down. We was getting busy. Land of milk and honey, fruits and labor, was getting it in with each other. The video that I showed in the 1800s of the brother leaving from Zamaka on his boat with his goods, rowing over to the other islands, coming over to the mainland, which is what now they're trying to call America alone, without no blockage. No one telling him, yo, you can't do that, you can't go there, no immigration, no nothing. He was just leaving. That dark-skinned brother left from Zamaka over into Florida, and no one stopped him with his goods. This is how we used to do it, because we still controlled our ports up until the late 1800s. Okay? He was in his little boat rowing over there. Right? But this is it, man. We're not going to ignore this history right here. We're not going to do it. I'll be damned. We're not. The stronghold that they were also talking about, there was one that was also built on Hispaniola. And this is it right here, right? Also as well. And this is where they held out against the invasion of the French and the Brits right here and defeated all of them. Every single one that came on that island got defeated. All of them. Like, where look, look. They are still there. Here they go. They're still there. La Torte et les Tortugas. Tortugas. They're still there. Here they go. Right here. The Arawaks of the land. They're still there. And we got these Pan-Africans coming in, trying to teach them that they're Africans from Africa and they came as slaves. That's bullshit. They're still there. Right? The French and the Brits was taking them off the island and enslaving them and trying to push them out to go sell them other places into the Americas, displacing them. But because, again, we are Americans, we all know, this is why when a slave ran away from a plantation, the slave knew exactly where to go. Because we mainlanders, islanders, we were traveling all over the Americas. So we knew our shit. There was no borders. So we traveled freely. You see what I'm saying? Unless you were warned with a neighboring clan and shit like that. That's different. But in times of peace, it's just travels. Like, this is real. Look. Yo. You can't hide this. Can't hide this. Here goes your Tortuga. Here goes your Hispaniola and your Tortuga. You can't hide this. See how beautiful it is? You can't hide this. La Torte, Haiti. This is from the Haitian Forum. This is why they want Haiti so bad. Look, the turtle's back. There you go. This is why they want it so bad. Look, and see, it lets you know, man. This is it's Turtle Island. It's Turtle Island. Yeah. Can't. Let me bookmark this because I see something that I want to get back to also as well. We can't ignore this stuff. Right? Let's get into this article, and then after this, we're gonna read parts of this article. After that, then we're gonna call it a wrap. Right? Settlement by French in 1625 to 1632. In 1625, the French arrived and established a colony at the island St. Kitts, formerly known as St. Christopher. Together with English colonists from this island, they set sail to Hispaniola. They found it fairly populated by Spanish colonists and therefore continued to the north to the island Tortuga. On this island, only a few Spanish colonists were based. Right? And remember, the Spaniards supposedly came in 1492, right? In 1492, they came. In 1494, they was down by Hispaniola and Jamaica, right? So they said it was only a small group in the 1600s that was based there, a small group. That means those Arawaks and those Spaniards wasn't warring at that time. They weren't at war. And if there was just a small group there, and they were still outnumbered by the Arawaks, right? The war didn't kick up until the French and the Brits came. They started setting up plantations. And steadily increased their numbers. Some of them from the island St. Kitts and Nevis that were attacked in 1629 by Spanish forces under command of Don Fabaric de Toledo. In the same year, they also attacked Tortuga. Okay. Now, this is when they was attacking the Brits. They also attacked Tortuga. The Spanish forces are successful and temporarily expel them. Spanish forces temporarily expel them. A number of the colonists flee into the woods and some escape to the woods of Hispaniola. Spanish forces fortified Tortuga in 1630. Despite this, the French take possession of the island again when most of the Spanish forces leave for Hispaniola to root out the French colonists in the woods there. That sounds like the Spanish is fighting only the French and the Brits. So every time they try to come and take a hold of Tortuga, the Spanish will come and be like, nah, get out of here. And we'll leave the Arawaks alone on the island. Understand this. This is what was going on then. All right. Spanish forces leave for Hispaniola to root out the French colonists in the woods there. The small Spanish force that had been left was defeated, and the Frenchmen extended the fortifications the Spaniards had set up. Most of the English colonists did not return, but settled again at the island of the small Spanish force that had been left. Did I read that already? So again, at the island of Nevis, my bad. Those that had returned established a new colony under the control of the Providence Island Company. What is the Providence Island Company? Let's click on that. Okay, they don't show the pic. This was founded by English entrepreneurs, which were English businessmen in 1630. The most remarkable of its members were the second Earl of Warwick, Robert Rich, 1587 to 1658. He was born 1587, died 1658. And John Pym, 1584 to 1643, who had led the English Parliament into civil war in the 1640s. Right, so this is when they had their civil war also as well. That was going on also as well in England, right? All right. The governor of this English colony is Anthony Hilton. Buccaneers of Tortuga, 1633 to 1634. The French send a request for a governor to the governor of St. Kitts. He sends Jean Levasseur to them with men and equipment to further fortify the island. He built the fort de Rocher on a rocky outcrop of a natural harbor. Tortuga from then on is regularly used by privateers and pirates as a base of operations. In 1633, the governor of Tortuga, also called Association Island, is still Captain Anthony Hilton. In this year, the first slaves are imported. 1634 saw the governor general of the French West Indies transfer his seat of power from St. Kitts to Tortuga. The campaign des Isles d'Amérique takes possession of French colony on this island. So now you're getting into how your United States of America was founded. It started in the islands. Tortuga under attack, 1635. Captain Nicholas Reskimmer arrives on Tortuga in 1635 to take up as governor of the English colony on the island. Apparently, he was a scoundrel, since Richard Lane en route to the island of Provence. What is the island of Provence? Island of Provence was one of the two colonies that was settled by English Puritans in 1630. The colony failed failed after several attacks by Spanish privateers in 1641. The small volcanic island lies off the coast of Nicaragua and was named Santa Catalina by the Spaniards prior to its settlement by the Englishmen. Okay. And sailing on the same vessel to the West Indies, reported that he had taken his goods by force. Skinner dies shortly after his arrival at Tortuga. For some time, slaves had been imported to work on the plantations of the island, despite advice that the colonists should distribute them over the island and treat them well. The experiment with slavery faltered. For some time, slaves had been imported to work on the plantation faltered at some time in 1635. On Tortuga, the slaves were said to be out of control and planters dispersed because of fraud and mismanagement. There are also continual disagreements and fights between the English and the French colonists. Now, they couldn't control their slaves. This is because, again, when the French and the Brits started enslaving folks from other islands, the Arawaks that was up in the mountains noticed that was their peoples and came down and was freeing them. So they was fighting the French and the Brits, right? And this fight didn't fully escalate to a major level till when Dutty Bookman went to Hispaniola and started teaching our brothers and sisters there the language of the invaders. And when they started learning the language of the invaders, then they all started uniting and coming together, and the Haitian Revolution kicked off. Understand? These are the missing components of the history that we're putting together now in their proper place. Right? When it comes pertaining to the islands now, right? Like, this is some juicy stuff. Okay. So on Tortuga, the slaves were to be out, the slaves were said to be out of control, and the planters dispersed because of fraud and mismanagement. There are also continual disagreements and fights between the English and the French colonists. An Irish deserter of the English colony named John Murphy brought intelligence of this to the Spanish forces in the area. As a result, in the same year, the colony is attacked by Spanish forces under the command of Rue Fernandez de Fuenmayor, latter governor of Venezuela. In 1638 to 1643. The English colony is soon captured and many colonists are killed. On that same year, Spanish forces under the command of Captain Gregorio de Castelar y Mantillater attacked the island of Province, Santa Catalina. Right? The English forces on Province Island were able to defend it successfully against the attack. After the attack on Tortuga, its abandonment by the Spaniards, the English and French colonists that managed to escape from the attack returned to the island. Now it was the second attack of Tortuga. Show you how many times they attacked there. Second attack on Tortuga, 1636 to 1639. This situation of the failing plantations must not have been improved. Much by the year 1638, when Spanish forces again attacked Tortuga and temporarily expelled the colonists. In a letter by Don Indigo de la Mota to the Spanish king in 1639, he makes mention of the successful attack on the pirate colony and its mixed population that consisted of Dutch and French pirates. Very shortly hereafter, in 1639, these managed to recapture the island and ratify it. In 1639, the number of colonists on Barbados and St. Christopher is so large that these wander to other colonies to be able to establish themselves and make a living. Some of them go to Tortuga, where they set up successful plantations in tobacco. Their leader was Captain Robert Flood. Tortuga attack on Tortuga. The third attack. In 1640, the Buccaneers of Tortuga began calling themselves the Brethren of the Coast. In this same year, John Lee Versour is commissioned to take full possession of the island. He was able to expel the ill-organized English colonists without much difficulty by 1641. The population of pirates and privateers on Tortuga consisted of a mix of the most Europeans, but the largest part were French and English. A Spanish report from 1646 again mentions the Buccaneers hideout and the population of prates and privateers on Tortuga consisted of a mix of most Europeans, but the largest parts were French and English. The Spanish report in 1646 again mentions the Buccaneers hideout and informs us the population consists of Dutchmen and Englishmen in 1645. The French governor imported several hundred prostitutes around 1650, hoping to regularize the lives of the unruly pirates, some of whom lived in a kind of homosexual union known as matelotage. Levasseur is assassinated by his own followers in 1653 during his years as a governor for the island was heavily fortified against attacks from Spanish forces. His successor, Chevalier de Fontaine, was attacked in January 1654 by Spanish forces from Santo Domingo. A garrison was left to hold the island, but it was withdrawn in 1655 to aid the defense of Santo Domingo against English forces in the area. When some Englishmen heard of this, they sailed from Jamaica to reoccupy it. This they did from 1655 to 1659. From the island, they frequently attacked the few Spanish settlements that still remained on Hispaniola. As a consequence, these were destroyed. Colonel Edward D. Olay, then governor of Jamaica, tried to establish an English government on the island from 1658 to 1659. Despite help from French deserters, he failed and a French government was set up. Now, here's what I want to say. Right? Give me 1 second. while all this was going on, the Indians on the island never called that island Jamaica, nor did they call the other island Haiti or Hispaniola or St. Dominique. Okay? They never called the islands these things. Now, pay attention. When they started calling the islands these stuff, that was on their corporate name, the colonizers, because they couldn't use the real name of the islands because it's not theirs. So whatever business agreement they had, whatever alliance and association those folks was building and having, this was the name of their alliance, which is now put off to be as an corporation. Corporation of called Jamaica, corporation called Haiti, corporation called Cuba, so on and so on and so. Okay. Now the Arawaks was on the island, but they were now Pete. The French and English went and colonized Port Royal. Port Royal is a small island belonging to Jamaica, right? They French and the English went to colonize Turtle Island, Tortuga. Tortuga is a small island off of on the coast of Hispaniola. Understand what I'm saying? They went for the little small places first and still couldn't get it. Okay? This is how they started formulating this system that we have, that we are in now. This corporate structured system. This is how. All right? Matter of fact, I'm gonna put this article in the chat right now. The link to this article in the chat, because I'm about to wrap this up. Close it out. Come on. Don't tell me it froze. Okay. My screen. Okay, there we go. What do you do? What do you? Who do you pour dry for? I don't get that. Okay, there we go. There we go. Right? So this is what it is, man. Like the history, we can't ignore certain information when it comes to us. Because you know what? Throughout this whole time when I've been dropping information, I don't remember ever mentioning the history of the pirates, right? I don't remember ever breaking down the history of the pirates and how that pertains to the creation of this corporation. There's a reason why now in the system today we call them privateers and buccaneers or pirates. That's because those privateers and those pirates, right, those buccaneers were the ones that came together and decided, hey, why are we fighting with each other? Let's come together, create peace, and let's create a divide between the Indians. And when they created that divide between the Indians, they started giving these lands, right, corporate names. You see what I'm saying? And then they created this, they corrupted this system here and took it over with their codes, with their statutes, and implemented it upon us. Till it got to the point where they had an Indian dividing the Indian. You see what I'm saying? And all they had to do now was just sit back and watch it all crumble and fall. To where we started educating our people that they're Africans and Pan-Africans and all this dumb shit. Other identities of other people that already told us, yo, you are not us. You are not us. But we still insisted and we still kept going and we still kept going and we still kept going. So a good portion of the population believe that they're Africans. Right? This is what it is. We must wake up. It is important that we wake up. If you feel like you have a solution, go push it. I feel like I have a solution, I'm going to push it. But all of our solutions must come back to home. It must come back to home. Nowhere else. You know, that's it. That's it, family. That's it. That's it. We got to do what we got to do. We got to do what we can do to make sure that history is told accurately and correctly, and make sure that these people don't try to write us out of the history books. Right? Now we can put two and two together and start seeing other reasons why they're coming at Haiti, how they're coming at Haiti. Okay? So basically, when these folks saw what they could get, they came together, created a union, and started trying to go after more and more and more lands. But they came into more and more resistance from the Indians. Right? So how they got us is through paperwork. That's how they got us, through the paperwork. And that's how they're still getting us today. It's through the paperwork. Right? We got to know who we are, man. We can't ignore certain history. And this history stayed home. This is home. This history stayed home. Like, seriously. Right? All right, y'all. Before we go, I want y'all to check out my Teespring store, right? And also my website. Our website. Let's pull up the website. Now, definitely by this weekend, we got more information to put on the website. All right. And got some corrections. So I got a correction to make with one of the books also as well. Now, I have this name, American Indian United, as the web address. They just won't activate it and switch and change it off of being American Aborigine United, right? Because it's now American Indian United. This is it. Okay. Let's see. Go down to books. And we're going to be adding some law books on here. More law books on here as well. Oh, thanks, Aboriginal Q. He just put the Teespring store link in the chat also as well. All right. I don't know why it's taking so long to load here. All right, they're messing with it. Yeah. But when you guys go on, you'll be able to go on without no problem, easy with no problem at all. Okay. And just check out the book section. You know what I mean? Check out the cover page also as well. The website does give a lot of information also as well. You know what I mean? So it'll be something good to check out. Okay. But it's there. It's there for our people. This is what the website is here for. There we go. And we have more things that we are adding here also as well. So we have the 1856 Bouvier Law Dictionary. We got the Law of the Land Handbook, right? This is about archaeology. It's the wrong name. It's not international law, but this is also very interesting and good book also as well, right? So yeah, this is what we gotta do. And then this was a book that we got from Sister Phoenix's channel, which is the Virginia History Magazine bio also as well, right? And then these are links. If you don't know how to write a legal document and you need to learn how to write a legal document, I put links on the site in the book section, how to write a legal document. So when you click on the link, it's going to come up. They're moving it slow, but there you go. And this is from the National Archives, okay? Where it's breaking down to you how to write a legal document. All right. So that's that. That's it. Okay. And y'all can log on and check out the rest of the site. You know what I mean? This is my Teespring store here. Now this is my personal business. This is what this is. All right. I'm not gonna sit here and tell folks that this is to build this. No, this is my personal business. I'm a photographer and an artist, and I'm into designing t-shirts and hats and these things. Right. So this is what it is. All right, these here, right? Original Indian. I call my brand Rock Wilson. All right, with ROHKWILSON. Right. Scroll up some of the hoodies right here. Now I'm gonna show y'all like. Yeah, they're really slowing this up. They're really slowing this up. All right, so we got 3 different colors for this hoodie here. All right. Okay. Truthfully, the green one is my favorite. No lie. All right. Now I'm going to show you the ones with my artwork now on it and my photography work on it, also as well. Right. We also got things for babies, and I'm about to start trying to work on some things for newborns. But those things I'm going to be selling custom. Right. When I get my materials from my machines here in my house, I'm going to be selling the things for newborns custom made everything. Okay. As well. So this is one of my designs. This is a Jimi Hendrix design here. For this right here. Again, this is the name of the brand, Rock Wilson, Jimi Hendrix, Standing Rock, right? Okay. Got the t-shirt also as well. And we got it in different colors. Got it in black, got it in white, got it in gray. We also got the t-shirt. All right. Got a t-shirt in the black. Got it in the white. All right. I got to do more round neck shirts like this, the classic tees like this. All right. Majority of the ones that I've done so far are V-necks. Okay. Now these are unisex, so they're for males and females. All right. It just cuts out a whole bunch of whatchamacallit. That's why I did it like that. Yo, Pirates of the Caribbean gives away so much history, so much. They give away so much. All right, so now this is my own custom design. This is my artwork here. All right. As this is for females. This tank top is for the ladies. Strictly for females. All right. We got it in 3 different colors. One is in the gray. All right. All right. And we got some for babies also as well, from 6 months and up. Got some stuff for 6-month-olds and up. 6-month-olds and up. Yeah, here. All right. It's another T right here. All right. We got the hoodie. Got it in different colors too. Here's the hoodie. I love this hoodie. Different colors for the hoodie. All right. And I also got I got some custom socks with all of my artwork and all my artwork on there also as well. So I'm going to drop the link back to the to the Teespring store also as well for you guys. Oh, they're trying to slow up my stuff. Look at it. Isn't me, or did it just got completely slower? Yep. More hoodies. Yeah. here goes the socks right here. These are the socks here. All right. So the socks are for males and females. And when you click on some of the socks, we also got leggings as well for like the females also as well, right? So these are the female leggings. And for those who are going to say, but these are Caucasian ladies, that's the avatar that I had to work with from Teespring, all right? So when you buy your size, it should fit. You see what I'm saying? All right. And we got some phone cases also as well. All right, let's click on one of the socks. Here goes the socks. Right. And I'll put it in a whole bunch of different colors just in case. So that it could for both males and females. Right. Chooses where it says gear still. Yeah, I don't this is hopefully, you know what I mean, this goes good and I could be able to open a physical store and get my equipment because I look, I'm planning on designing everything myself, cut out the middleman, shoes, everything. You see what I'm saying? So this is the start right here for me. And you know, I could be able to hire American Indian designers, American Indian artists, photographers, right? Because we're going to mix the artwork with the photography. You see what I'm saying? So you know, we'll be able to have a building where we have a gallery where we can have a wine and what they call it when they have the little wine and they're also doing the artwork. You know what I mean? You can have your family day also there, and we could have the clothing part also. Well, it's a gallery and a clothing store. That's my dream, right? With our people working in there, you know what I mean? But it was weird. And the phone cases, the socks, tees. All right, so this whole page is all my artwork that I put on these, all of these, my photography and my artwork mixed in, right? So yeah. All right, but you know, again, like I just want, I just want our people to just, you know what I mean, study the history. But when you're studying the history, know that the laws go with the history because these same people that created this type of structure, how the system is now, the pirate age is the origin of where a lot of it came from. Okay, and then that's going to go up. This is that, and also what I was showing y'all was before 1666, before the Setsque V Act. All right. So that's going to go up into the 1666 Setsque V Act and beyond and afterwards. And it's going to ties in with the mainland and show you the history of the mainland coming down back into the islands as well. Because don't forget, majority of America is nothing but islands. The majority of America is nothing but islands. If they need a bridge to connect it, it's an island. If they need a bridge to connect it and there's no other way around it, it's an island. If it's an underwater tunnel, it's an island. Okay? So you know, so yeah. Like this is what it is, family. This is what we're trying to do. All right, so I'm gonna put the link in the chat also as well for y'all. Oh, for the and yeah, so these are for the these for the babies. Here we go right here. We got in different colors for the babies, right? Yeah. I'll put the link to it in the chat. Turtle Island, according to Queen Afua's book, is what the America used to be called. White man. Wait, what the hell? Where the hell did it go? White man has to put on paper as Morocco. They jointly and the Moors come in here. Turtle Island, according to Queen Afua's book, is what the America used to be called. White man has it on paper as Morocco. They jointly and others. I don't know what to tell you, but I just showed you what Turtle Island is. So Turtle Island is Tortuga. Tortuga is in North America, right? That's what Turtle Island is. You see what I'm saying? That's Turtle Island. You know what I mean? That Rhonda, thanks, sister Rhonda, thanks. But yeah. So to ignore that is to ignore the entire history of where these laws came. A lot of these laws that they came up with now came from, that they have pushing on you now came from these so-called codes and stuff. It's to ignore the history of the faces who actually formed the United States Corporation and what the United States Corporation is. So I always wondered, why do they have a Caucasian face running Mexico and so on and so. Now you know. Now you know, right? That's the corporation, the United States Corporation. You see what I'm saying? Now you know. But where was it formed at? It was formed in the islands. It was formed in the islands. That's where it was formed at. It was formed in the islands. So when you're paying attention to that bullshit that's going on at the border, we're going to put up a wall at the. They let a boatload of those people in, more than a boatload, millions, hundreds of thousands of them in every year, and have a number that they try to stop. You see what I'm saying? But you're not paying attention to the ones that's flying over on planes from Europe. And remember, there's a lot of folks being displaced all over the world. Every time there's a war over there in what we call the Eastern Hemisphere, people are displaced. They're going to need somewhere to go. This is why Obama let in those 30 to 40,000 refugees from, I think it was from Syria. And where did he let them into? He let them into parts of New Orleans, snuck them in there. Right? Wake up. This is to push you out and to pull them in. But while that's happening, the history has to be corrected so you can have a full understanding of how deep this is. And all of these plannings, these strategies started taking place on Port Royal and Tortuga, Turtle Island. This is how important to knowing this information is. You get a real good understanding of what was happening, right? All right, y'all, I'm about to head out. With that being said, I say peace, love, and light to you all. Again, don't forget to check out the Teespring store as well, right? And also the website, which is AmericanAborigineUnited.com. Okay, they're slowing up my internet so much. Don't worry, it still ain't going to stop us. Yeah, they're definitely slowing it up. There we go. Still got to load. All right, AmericanAborigineUnited.com. All the links is in the chat. I think I'm going to open up the comment section to this video and just put the links out there. All right. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put the links out there. I'm going to open up the comment section, put the links back on it. I'm gonna unlock back the comment section on the videos and put the links in back out there. Just make it easier. All right. But with that being said, I say peace, love, light to you all. Safe travels to you all. Best wishes and health to you all. And I keep you guys in my heart, your families in my heart. And nothing but the best for you all right? To all my Aborigine brothers and sisters out there, much love to you all. And let's just get it, right? Let's just get it. Let's put the information out there. Let's do what we've been doing all this time, right? But let's try to also implement more about the deepness of where the formatting of the U.S. corporation came from, right? And how they implement and where and how they started implementing their borders to divide. Because notice also in the one of the articles, they let you know that the Turtle Island was like of the main port to where they could go and disrupt the flow of other folks going to import and export throughout the other countries of the Americas. That's why they needed to shut down Turtle Island. This is why they also fighting for Haiti. This is why they also fighting for Zamaka right now today through their corporate courtrooms, right? Which is the boardroom, which is you're boarding their ship. This is why they're doing all of this. Understand? The portways. This is why they're going after Chicago. This is why they're going after Oregon, Portland. The portways. They know the old ports. They know the parts of the mainland where when we was bringing in the goods, when the goods touch this part, once it touch this part, it's going to touch the rest of the other countries throughout the mainland. They know. This is why they find to shut these down. Now, to my Aborigine brothers and sisters, you have to learn how to get control of some docks, right? We all talk about opening stores and this and that, but the Chinese are buying up these ports, these docks. You have to learn and look into your documentation, your ancestral documentation, and see if your ancestors owned these ports and these docks, and go get that shit. Because this is how the Chinese are able to import and export goods cheap, because they own the docks. And I guarantee you they're not paying no taxes. This is why they can sell back the gear that they have, their food that they're bringing in to their people in Chinatown for cheap. So if you used to buy a bag of chips for 25 cents back in the day, their peoples is probably buying it for that, and they're selling it to you for $1, guaranteed. You see what I'm saying? Wake up, y'all. All right. All right, G Major, no problem. All right. With that being said, peace and love, y'all.